Hello, this is Pavel from DevOps Codes Academy. I hope you enjoyed previous lessons. Today we will continue episode number 4 and we will go again to Linux basic commands. Today we're gonna learn about management, how to create and remove directories and files. Let's jump into the console.
Okay, we are back in the Linux terminal. If you haven't deleted the instance from the last lesson and you're going one after another one, so probably you have it already running. If you deleted after last lesson, I hope that you know how to recreate it. If not, please go back to the episode number 3. If you are here and you haven't watched previous lessons, we are using Amazon Linux 2, the image given by Amazon. All right, if you have any problems with spinning up a new instance, please go to the previous lessons. And today we will learn about basic commands, part 2. Today we will manage directories and files. Okay, so let's start. For the first command that we're gonna learn today will be make directory. This is mkdir, and we can make the first directory. Let's call it Asia. If we type ls, we know that command from the previous lesson, we will see that new directory has been created. Okay, let's go into Asia. And now we can create multiple directories at once. If we type mkdir, and we can say Thailand, Singapore, ls again, and we see that we have 2 new directories. We can create also a directory inside another directory. So if we go back up and we create another country in Asia, let's try to make it Malaysia, for example, and we do ls Asia from this position, we see that we have a new directory created. Okay, but what about if the directory doesn't exist and we want to create 2 directories nested at the same point? So let's try to make it. We are at the very, let's say, global level, and we want to create Europe, Poland. And we will have an error that Europe, the directory, doesn't exist. So to do that, we can add flag p, and this will help us to create nested directories if they don't exist. See, there's no more error. We see that Europe has been created. If we list Europe, we see that there's Poland inside. That's nice. Okay, let's go to another command. Now we want to create some files. As you can see, and we make ls-ll, it's a list. All of them, they have letter D, means that these are directories. So let's go inside one of our countries, for example, Thailand. You see it's empty right now, and we want to create a city which will be a text file. We can use command touch bangkok.txt. We type again ls, and we see that we have a file. If we make it ls-ll, you see that there's no more letter D here, means that this is the file. Okay, so when we use a touch for the first time for the newly created file, you will see that it's created. But what about if we make the same command with the same file? What will happen? We will have no error because touch is a command that will modify the timestamp. So if we make ls-ll, you can see that there's a different time here, 1 minute later, but the file didn't recreate, right? It has been already here. So this is for us to modify. If you want to read a little bit more about touch command and any other command, you can always use command man, which is manual, and it will print you more information about the command, about the flags, parameters that we can use. You can go with arrow down to see more. If you want to quit, just press Q. Okay, so we are back in our terminal. So we have our file Bangkok. We can touch, of course, multiple files. If we touch, let's say, Phuket, this is the place where I am living. Can make Pattaya, can make Krabi, and we can have multiple extensions of the files. At this point, it doesn't matter because we are creating just a simple text files. So you can do whatever you want there. Of course, the PDF file, it's empty, so it will not be a PDF. For that, we need a special program. And you see that all of these files, they are empty. But we can create also at the one command multiple files. Okay, so let's go back and now try to make some order here. If we go up to our home directory, and if you remember from the last lesson, if we are in the home directory, this is tilde here, right? If we make cd dash, we go to the previous one, Asia, Thailand. If we make cd tilde, we will go to our home directory, just a small reminder from the last lesson. So we have two directories, and if we want to remove the directory, there's a command remove dir, but if we make it here, we will have an error because this directory is not empty. So this command we can use only when the directory is empty. So we can make it, if you press the arrow up, you will go to the previous command. So you can see if we go up, up and down, that's another tip, we can browse our previous commands. If we do remove Asia, and I think Singapore was empty, and we press enter, you can see that we have no error, and in Asia there's no more Singapore directory. This might help us with removing only empty directories. So what about the directories and the files? The directories that they are not empty. So we have another command for that, and this is rm to remove. So we can try to remove Asia. And you see that cannot remove Asia because it's a directory. But we can do, and we can add a flag recursive. And now it's okay because it will go down into all nested directories and files, and then it will remove all of it, right? You can see that Asia is now disappeared. So if we recreate it, oh, we can even make mkdir-p Asia, and let's say again Singapore, right? We can touch a file from this position as well. Singapore, and let's in Singapore we have Singapore. Okay, so we can also do remove -v, because as you can see, we removed everything in Asia, but there was no output. So if we do the same, and of course -v, and we will need -r for recursive. Now flag v added verbose, so we can see that everything what has been removed has been printed into the terminal as well. That's nice. Also, sometimes in some of the systems you might get asked, are you sure if you want to remove that? So for that command, we can add remove recursive, and F means force. But be very careful with that command, not only with the force flag, but with remove, because whatever we delete from this position in terminal. It's deleted from the operating system. It's not moved to any, let's say, trash bin. So all the files that we are removing, they are gone and we cannot recreate it. So if we go Europe, you can see that everything was also removed and there's nothing right here. But as I said, be careful with removing anything from the operating system. Always think twice or three times before you delete anything, because once it's done, unless you have some snapshot, you have backup of the drive, then you might go back there and try to restore the data. But it's of course additional work and stress many times. So yeah, what I recommend you, be careful with that comment. Okay, so we went through 4 commands. We went through mkdir, we went through touch, remove dir, and remove rm. I hope that was a nice lesson for you for today. If you have any more questions, please put it into the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more lessons about DevOps and cloud. One more thing for the end of this lesson. If you don't want to remove this EC2 instance, be careful. Of course, we are using a free tier, so it will not charge you for the first year, but you might come to the point that you will log in back to the account and you will think, oh, there's no more my EC2 instance. And it might be because of the regions, right? So as you can see, since the beginning, I'm using North Virginia, the default one, US East one. And if we go to, let's say, European region, you will see that there will be no instance running. So be careful with that. What I recommend to you, always when you are finishing your work, destroy the EC2 instance or any other resources, and then just build it from the scratch. After a long time, that's a good idea because our brain, our memory is forgetful. And believe me, many times I created something, I was disturbed for 5 minutes, and 10 minutes later, I didn't remember that I have created something. So to delete instance, we have to click here, terminate instance, of course, confirm. Thanks to this, you will be always more careful and prepare for unexpected. Thank you. That was Pavel from DevOps Code Academy, and see you in the very next lesson.